Ichigo awakens by Talacha in chapter 46, Frozen Rage, World of the Living. Ichigo and Toshiro went hunting for any trace of Kusaka, his Rankar or the Oin. They've spent an entire week searching for any leads, hoping that they'd find the trio, or at least they'd go after Hitsugaya and leave a trail to follow. No such luck for either of them. Word was that there was an attack on Soul Society with ice attacks on par with Hiromaru, analysis from the SRDI, however, noted some very small differences, theorizing that it was more directly offensive than the real Hiromaru. The ultimate difference between the two ice blades. Publicly, Toshiro is not wanted for treason and is to be executed. In reality, it was another ploy to lure out Kusaka and his allies. Ichigo and Toshiro were currently investigating two different areas of the city when they got the order. Toshiro near a shrine and Ichigo near the old Quincy training grounds. He forgot about a few select individuals that would like to speak with him. Well. We heard from above a light. He heard from above a light tone that spoke of sadism and poor attitude. He looked up to see Candace and Bambita standing amongst the branches. Looks like someone finally took the initiative, said Bambita, smirking down at the hybrid and winking seductively. Lucky for us, it's the cute one. Ichigo released a disinterested, annoyed sigh. Now her seductive smirk was filled with anger. He's also the more dangerous one. Ichigo turned his head to see Basby show up behind him. Ichigo, he growled, still angry about last time. Rooster, Ichigo replied, no trace of fear in his voice, and an angry twitch from the Quincy. I'll be honest, I forgot about you guys completely, he continued, the senator glaring at the hybrid. I've been pretty busy with things. A coming war with the Hollows and some jackass who might destroy time and space. Ichigo's apathetic scowl turned into a threatening glare while his phone rang with the new message. He took a sideways glance to read the message and he needed to hurry. Toshiro sensed them and they were coming his way. So if you don't mind, I have things to do. He quickly undid his two seals and created a suffocating atmosphere. Uryu and I will talk to you later. This is more important, he said before disappearing, leaving the Quincy to start breathing harder. Each one was idly wondering what Ichigo was anymore. With Ichigo came to the old shrine on the edge of the city. They found me. That's what Toshiro's text said. He sent a message back to Hiyori after undoing his seals, saying to increase the spiritual status around the city. It's not often he's allowed to release 100%, as he still doesn't have the fine control everyone deems necessary. So he often makes mistakes. He needs to stop 5 times before finally landing in front of the shrine in question. After shooting past it over and over, he was in front of the shrine just as the two Rankara finished telling Toshiro something. Time to set the plan into motion. Toshiro Hitsugaya, by order of the head captain of the court guard squads, you are under arrest for treason against Soul Society, Ichigo called out, trying to make it sound like he was about to turn on Fred. The two sisters got between him and Toshiro. Go on ahead, the red-haired girl said, pulling out a sword of fire. We'll cover you. Just get to Master Kusaka, the blue-haired girl continued, pulling out an electric whip. He's been waiting for you for so long. The young captain looked to Ichigo before winking. The hybrid nodded and continued forward. That prompted Yang to attack, blasting a large wave of flames to the fearless hybrid. Ichigo ended up walking through it like it was a warm breeze. This unnerved the girl, but Yin did not falter as she sent balls of lightning at him. The results were the same as he brushed the electricity aside. They then mixed the lightning and fire to hit him with the combined energies, praying for any result. Hitsuga, meanwhile, taking his chance to leap over the smoking form of his ally and run to where he was told to meet Kusaka. Ichigo proved himself resilient when he jumped out from the smoke cloud and kicked the boy in the stomach, making the captain puke up blood, and Balasi was sent flying into the city and through a couple buildings, it seemed. Whoops! Ichigo winced, not trying to hit so hard that he would kill Hitsugaya. This must be why Yamamoto keeps making me practice the calligraphy, he thought while hearing something he's only heard when the very captain he just kicked had attacked him. He twisted himself to see multiple Chinese dragons made of purple ice come flying towards him. Seriously, he mentally screamed as he was encased in in ice. For a second before freeing himself, he looked up to see the same cloaked and masked figure that was supposed to be Kusaka. Sorry for the cold introduction, but you're in my way, he said, pointing at Ichigo with his blade. I only take ice buns from one guy, and I just kicked him around the city, Ichigo called out fearlessly. So either piss off or tell me who you are. All he got was some twisted laughter as Kusaka attacked again. My name is of no consequences to a dead man, he continued to sing dragons to Ichigo. They were faster than Toshiro's, but seemed to lack the same level of flexibility. Since Ichigo was already familiar with Hirimaru's ability, he swerved and dodged attacks with high speed and great ease. He was charging towards Kusaka when Yin and Yang attacked him with a stronger combined strike, letting Kusaka gather his dragons to converge on Ichigo again. There was a pause and Kusaka smiled, believing in his victory. He was unaware until Ichigo appeared in front of him and spread him through it. And spewed him through his stomach with his bare hand. He looked down to the hand embedded in his gut before Ichigo pulled off his mask and looked the rogue in his eyes. Kusaka wore his dark hair in a bun and had a scar on his right side of his face. His red eyes burned with hate for the world the world he lived in, and what happened. The world of hate that made people become monsters. Where is the Owen? Ichigo growled, slowly twisting his hand and making Kusaka growl in pain. Instead of answering, the rogue slashed at Ichigo's face before pulling himself off of Ichigo's hand and disappearing like magic. Ichigo looked around and only saw Yang and the massive number of growing hollows behind them. Of course, sending cannon fodder. Ichigo sighed in disappointment before his father and other squad members appeared. Ichigo, head to Soul Society, Ishin ordered quickly. We just got confirmation that the Oin can manipulate time and space. We got word that there was a teleportation to society shortly after you confronted Kusaka. A quick summary. Uryu said while shooting the hollows with a massive barrage of arrows. After you beat him, he teleported to a previous time to meet Hitsugaya, healed both of them, and teleported to society for a final stage. Get moving. Ichigo nodded as he created and passed through Akarkanta. With Toshiro, the huge captain of ice struggled through the great pain of his shattered ribs to get to some underground abandoned building where Yang told him Kusaka would be waiting. He was standing at the bottom of the vast emptiness that was reminiscent of the Muken prison, waiting for the damned and dreary environment. Eventually, he fell against one of the many support columns holding up the building and sensed what was happening. To his partial surprise, he felt Kusaka's Reiatsu clashed against Ichigo's and getting predictable results. To his complete surprise, he also felt Kusaka in the same room as him. He looked up to see his old former friend appear before him and looking like he'd been injured before standing upright. Hello, Toshiro, he greeted his old friend. I've been waiting for this for a long time. He held out his hand, grasping something with a bright golden glow, and Toshiro felt his wounds heal. I wanted to send a message, but things were getting out of hand. Never thought someone like that was in the Gotai. That would be Ichigo, Hitsugaya answered, feeling fully healed as he stood back up. He's the new disciple of the Captain Commander. And what suffering did he go through for that? Kusaka asked, disgust evident in his voice. You know how society is, what they made us do. Why do you still give them your loyalty? Because of that childhood friend of yours. Momo has nothing to do with this, and society is different. Toshiro countered. The ones that made us fight are dead, and there's been a revolution of progress. The society you remember is becoming just a memory. Don't kid yourself, Toshiro, Kusaka roared, unbridled hate showing in his every action. I swore my loyalty and they killed us simply for having the same Zanpakuto. You expect me to believe that a system that's been the same for millennia could ever change? No, they must pay for what they did to us. The Owen glowed again as everything but them began to shift and move. Come, Toshiro, our vengeance is at hand. Within seconds, they were transported to society on the Sokugyu Hill, still littered with scars from Ichigo's fight with Aizen. The first step towards change for the land of the Shinigami. Kusaka explained the power of the Owen, allowing control over time and space. But Toshiro only paid attention to the gathering Soul Reapers, armed and ready to strike down both him and Kusaka. Stay back, all of you! He roared. A familiar voice called out as Ichigo stood between the army of Soul Reapers and the two friends. This is too dangerous. Keep your distance. Let them sort it out. At least someone is smart enough to know when he's outmatched. Kusaka sneered as the Shinigami opened a path, and and the ace commander came down the aisle. Just behind him was Tessai, Hachi, and Rangiku. He stopped in front of Ichigo, who knelt and took his place behind his teacher, next to Matsumoto. The air was thick with tension as Yamamoto looked at the two ice masters. Sojiro Kusaka, I remember you, boy. The old man spoke, sounding nostalgic and sad of one of the most promising students of his academy. Such a sad fate that befell you, boy. Sentenced to death by a bunch of fools that overstepped their limits, and the old man that accepted their words. You sentenced to die simply because there can't be two of the same Sanpakuto. Kusaka sneered at the military leader. And now for what do you mean overstepped their limits? He asked as the words finally registered with him. You were told that it was against the law for there to be two of the same Sanpakuto. That is not true, the ancient dragon explained, but not because of written law, but by fact. Sanpakuto are solely unique by their wielder, and the only way for there to be two of the same weapon is that Soul Reaper was cloned or got a second Sanpakuto. Central 46 is not made up of any Shinigami, but of 40 wise men and 6 judges, people that know only of the law, but not much less. Their ruling was to create order of the people in society, but that has changed into them being a bunch of self-serving fools, leading to many failures and unnecessary deaths and crimes. You were put into an unfair position and executed, all for a Sanpakuto you didn't even have. Kusaka looked like he was going insane with anger and disbelief. Lies! He cried out. The Owen reacted violently to the shifting emotions of its current holder. I wield a Hyunmaru. He told me himself. His name was Hyunmaru. I call out his name and he attacks. Sanpakuto are fickle things. Yamamoto replied, calm as ever. As it is now, what is its name? Kusaka looked at his blade, and from the look on his face, he finally cracked. He began screaming out in anger and denial, crying out that he was the master of Hyunmaru. Such a pathetic sight. Genryushi sighed out. Though I disagree with their methods, what they found was undeniable. Sojiro Kusaka, you do not deserve to be a Soul Reaper. Willing to kill your own best friend for the sake of power makes you unworthy of any power. Captain Kutsugaya, you have permission to execute this villain for the crime of stealing the Owen. Kusaka looked up at his best friend with anger and despair. No, not again. I will have my vengeance, he cried out, raising the hand that held the Owen. When nothing happened, he looked at his hand to see an orange prism at his wrist. Beyond was nothing. His hand and the Owen was lost to him. Hako Okuri, he heard from Hachi as he held an orange box made of Kido that contained his severed hand and the Owen. Tessa and Hachi then turned to leave the area. We shall see this away, the leader of the Kido Corps said. It's far too dangerous to leave out for anyone to grab. They disappeared, intent on locking away the world relic. Maintain what is left of your dignity, Kusaka, Yamamoto said as he raised his cane. Toshiro prepared himself to deal his former friend, resolved to let him die the way he deserved. Kusaka actually took the advice and prepared himself as well. A fight, the captain commander ordered, starting the final battle between the two. It ended as quickly as it began, with Kusaka impaled on Kurimaru. In his dying moments, he remembered that day he betrayed his he remembered the day he betrayed his best friend, all for a sword that was never his to begin with. Never wanted to be back here again. Kusaka weakly spoke as he slowly died. But in the end, I guess I was always jealous of you. I'm sorry for being such a terrible friend. He weakly hugged Toshiro while his remaining hand as he apologized. Kusaka, I will always remember you as my friend, Toshiro said as the rogue began to fade. I forgive you for what you did. Kusaka faded from the world and the Shinigami left the young captain alone to mourn the loss of his best friend. Rankiku's office. The chaos slowly died down and things began to shift to normal again. Hitsuga was declared innocent of everything that occurred. Tessa and Kido Corpse locked away the Owen. Squatten was recovered from the whole mess, and Rankiku was just happy to have her captain back alive and well. She was sitting alone in her office with a content smile as she drank some booze from her hidden stash. All her usual drinking buddies were actually busy with other stuff, so she was left alone until she got herself a surprise visitor. Hey! Ichigo called out from behind her, making her jump in surprise. That's he taken? She turned to the hybrid, recognizing the smell from the bag he carried. More dried persimmons. He did care. You really know how to make girl happy, she said, excited, while pulling out a chair next to her. She snatched the bag away and began to nibble on one of the dried fruits. Ichigo sat next to her. Once he got settled, she leaned against him with a happy smile. Thank you. Ichigo wrapped a comforting arm around her. I told you I'd bring him back. She would have made a joke, something about him being after her magnificent breast, but she just wanted to enjoy the moment, enjoy his presence. He really was a great guy. Central 46 Chambers. It had been a few months since Aizen struck down and took control of their predecessors in appointing the proper successors. Had proven an arduous task. Figures that knew the law, figures that seemed worthy, people that would be concerned with the desire of the nobility rather than anything else. As of now, there are only 14 sages and 3 judges. They were currently deliberating on the secret judgment that has been on their minds since his appearance. What to do about Ichigo Kurosaki? Suddenly the doors to the chambers blew open to reveal the current leader of the society, Genryusei Yamamoto. Sorry, Tiocho, this is unusual, one of the judges said, and you understand that it's forbidden for anyone to barge into these chambers, regardless of who they are? I'm the captain and commander of the 15 court guard squads. He said simply, I go where I want, and I have something to say to you. The various members that made up the leading authority in society watched the man. The ancient captain that always did as the law commanded made his voice heard. Your predecessors determined the law, and without question, the members of Gota 13 followed and obeyed. Because of that, no one questioned when Aizen orchestrated his conspiracy and did as they were told. Before that, good captains had to go into hiding because they were not given an investigation. They saw the law broken and ordered death. He raised his cane and slammed it into the floor, creating a large spider web fracturing throughout the chamber. No more! Your decision will not go without question. Your command will not be obeyed mindlessly, and your word is no longer law. The announcement filled the members with shock and anger, immediately arguing against his rule. The Central 46 was created by the Soul King. One of the sages yelled out, we act on his authority. There was a suffocating and crushing pressure as Genryusei silenced them all with his power. The Central 46 are the judges and the lawmakers. The ancient dragon conceded, that much will never change, but we are the court guard squads. We of the court guard squads are the ones to enact justice. We will examine a case and we will act on what we deem is right. Under martial law, I lead the Soul Society, and I will trust my captains in their judgments. The pressure left, and the chamber was filled with fear of the man. Genryusei turned and began to walk out the door. Before I forget, I know you're all planning something concerning my new student Ichigo Kurosaki. I'd advise you to end such thoughts. That boy will not bow to anyone that tries to control him. If the Soul King has a problem with my decision, then let the Zero Squad come to me. I dare you, he said before disappearing, leaving the Central 46 to wallow in their fear. Illustrated Guide to Soul Reapers. Pranks finally begin, and Kisuke gets married. Urahara was making his way from his office after doing many grueling hours of paperwork, justifying experiments, budget increases, double checking reports, all things he didn't miss about being a captain. Now he was tired and wanted to just get away from his work building. He was so out of it, he actually noticed Soy Phone running to him. Never! The petite assassin yelled out, running into him and making the captain spin dizzyingly. When he stopped, he felt something missing. Get back here! Ichigo yelled out as he also caused Urahara to spin rapidly. When he finally settled, he felt his hat and calmed down. Wonder what got into them? He asked, not realizing they switched out his hat with a Mario Kappa. Shortly after that switch, Yoruichi jumped on his head with a loud ping, with Urahara getting squished comically. How? He mumbled out loudly. Why, Unohana doesn't have a problem with the men's association? I can't believe this. Nano yelled in anger. Yeah, Unohana absently agreed, her nose buried in a picture book. I finally managed to become the president of the Women's Association, and all of Yachi's deeds fall on me. Unahana just hummed in agreement, not even paying attention, and Captain Kuchi was annoyed, but never filed charges. Bet if I asked Rukia, she convinced him to let us back in. Unahana still just humped, and the Women's Association did more than the men's ever did. Sure, I abused my authority a little, but Iba only used that club to show off or stroke his ego. Captain Unahana, what are you reading? She asked when she finally noticed the chairwoman wasn't paying attention. In the picture book was Zaraki, Ikaku, and Ichigo are looking like they were trying to kill each other with their blades, shirtless and covered in cuts, blood and sweat. The book was titled The Fierce Warriors, published by the Men's Association. The motherly captain had a fierce blush and a happy gaze in her eyes. Yachiru likes, she moaned, making Nanoa cry. End of chapter 46.